So CNS helped 4 people in my family. My son Brian, my husband Doug, my mother Myrtle, and my father Cleon. And I'm so grateful for them. I found CNS when my son Brian had Huntington's disease and he needed more help. And I had worked years before at a care center with a girl named Colette. Colette was working for CNS, and my son said he would let her take care of him. And that's the best decision I ever made. My Brian loved basketball and he loved tennis too. So they arranged with the Senior Wish program to take my son Brian and his 2 sons to a jazz game. And it was the light of his life to be able to go there and have his 2 sons there. CNS cared for my husband Doug, who had Agent Orange, so he wasn't able to walk for about 4 years. CNS came and took care of him. The nursing came and took care of him for a while. And then later on, Doug was put on hospice, and that's when Fire came also as his nurse. And Colette still came 3 or 4 times a week to take care of Doug. And we took care of him here at home, in a bed, in the house. And that's what he wanted. He did not want a care center. Jason is our social worker. Jason is my right-hand guy. He came whenever I needed him. Jason knew that Doug was a veteran, and he was in Vietnam, and of course, Vietnam veterans weren't honored too much. So there was a program with CNS that he planned for Doug to have a veteran salute. So on his birthday, which was just 4 months before he passed, he planned to have the honor salute. And that meant so much to Doug because he finally felt like he was honored for what he did. So my dad was in the care center because he had Alzheimer's, and my mother wasn't able to take care of him at home. But CNS, Colette, went to the care center, and she took care of my dad so that we knew he was getting the proper treatment. They were also there for my mom at home.
It's not just the moments that we enjoy at that time with individuals and their families. It's throughout the course of a day remembering the individuals that we've done special things with, that we've been able to be a part of something wonderful with their family, with the Senior Wish program, with military honor salutes that come back to me. So often we feel like we are helping someone else. That's our intention, and we leave feeling like we are the ones who've been blessed by our opportunity to spend time with them.
So CNS has helped my family so much, starting with Brian, and then my mom, and my dad, and then my Doug. And I'm ever grateful for the support, so many poems, so many special things to help me stay together. And I don't know what people do without that kind of support. So we appreciated CNS and their care because they loved the person, and that's the difference when you're a caregiver. You gotta love the person.
My name is Denise Santillan, and my daughter was Hannah Maria Santillan, and for 8 years of her life was cared by CNS, hospice and nursing. Hannah was definitely the light of my life, and in the almost 17 years that I had her, before her medical issues had taken her, she had had over 33 surgeries and thousands of seizures. She had scoliosis, she had cerebral palsy, she had arterial valve formation of the brain, which is bleeding on the brain. She had brittle bone disease and many operations to try to help sustain her life. I can't even imagine the pain that she endured for 17 years of her life. So they first came out to our home, and we had a nurse by the name of Dana, and she was absolutely phenomenal. But then along came a very special nurse in our life, and her name was Tammy. And once we got Tammy and she realized that Hannah was laying on a cot on the floor in our living room and only getting bigger, she said, "This is ridiculous. I think this poor girl needs to be on hospice, and we need to get her a hospital bed and get what she needs." We finally got introduced to the hospice team of CNS, which meant that we now had a aide coming out twice a week to give bed baths, which at first I was a little overwhelmed because that was my job. And I had been doing that for years. And I thought, I don't need somebody to come in and take my job. But then I realized how wore out I was getting and how important it was for me to be able to stay the best parent and on top of things the best that I could by letting others come in and kind of give me those breaks and take over in some of those times of need. And that's when we met Esther, the aide, for the first time. And she was so totally amazing. She just walked into our lives and became more like family. She was so kind and so gentle with Hannah. I felt like I couldn't have got any better team to help me with her throughout her life than what CNS gave us. I don't think she would have ever made it to almost 17 years without the help of their team guiding me through her life.